All right, we're here at the 2023 Scouting Combine with Tampa Bay Buccaneers General Manager Jason Licth. Jason, it's been a long time since I've seen you, man. I appreciate you sitting down and doing this with us.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. We miss you around Tampa.
I miss it too. I miss home, but like I said, when I left, you guys started winning. So I don't know, maybe I don't know, good luck charm, bad luck charm, something. But all right, I promise that not all the questions are going to be about Tom Brady because we're going to talk about what's in the future. But I do want to start with that. You know, what was the plan with him when you guys signed him? Was it a 2-year thing, a 3-year thing? And really, how surprised were you with the retirement last year? How surprised were you with it this year? Basically, was it just all on him, or did you guys kind of have a plan behind the scenes of when this might be happening?
Well, we originally signed him to a 2-year deal, and we were hoping it would be 2, praying it would be 3.
Sure.
And it turned out to be 3. So it was last year a little bit of a surprise, not so much a surprise as we thought that this could happen. You know, I'm a very close relationship with him, so I'm always in constant communication with him. But then, you know, obviously he came back out of retirement,
right,
and which was great for us. But, you know, the plan was to have him as long as we can and, you know, go from there. So,
was him retiring, and then I don't remember how many weeks exactly it was before him retiring. Was it you guys kind of like filling out the whiteboard of, all right, here's what we got to do now, and then he comes back, he's like, all right, erase everything. Let's just do. Let's figure.
Well,
it out.
It made the off-season planning a little challenging because
Sure.
you had to have Plan A, Plan B, and
right,
you know, offshoots of both Plan A and Plan B. So,
right.
But when he decided to come back, it made it a little bit more easy because we knew the direction we wanted to go at that point.
So a lot of guys, the player that everybody's talking about now at the quarterback position is Kyle Trask. Some of these guys drafted in the second round not too long ago, and you know, would you have been comfortable going with Trask if Brady would have stayed retired last year? Was that something that was on the board for you guys?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely. We're very excited about Kyle. You know, as you know, being a Florida native.
Mm-hmm.
He had a hell of a career at Florida. You know, he's got a history of taking advantage of his opportunities. You know, 43 touchdowns, 8 interceptions his senior year in SEC. I mean, that's not easy to do.
Right.
So now he's had the opportunity to sit behind Tom for 2 years, see how Tom operates. Blaine's a true professional as well, so
Sure.
see how those guys operate, and we think it's just only going to help his cause.
Yeah. So the guy that will be coaching him now is the offensive coordinator, Dave Canales, right? It's a really cool hire, somebody who's got the opportunity to call plays for the first time. I know a lot of people are excited about him, and you know, when you guys were going through the interview process of exactly who to bring in, whether it was for Kyle or whoever else might be under center for you guys, what set Canales apart during that interview process?
Well, Todd interviewed some great candidates. I was a part of it. They had a very unique skill set or traits and things that we liked. But one thing that Dave was very adamant about was a quarterback-friendly offense, having a quarterback that just doesn't make mistakes. He can work around. He's got an arm. He can get He can get the ball from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. He's smart. He works hard. What else do you want here?
Yeah.
Let's go. We can make this work. So it was very exciting to hear him talk about what his plan was and how he liked him coming out.
I was watching Todd Bowles' presser after you guys had hired Dave, and he talked about the energy and the passion, and I feel like just from interview number 1, that energy sticks out, and I'm curious, is that something that was just always something that was with him during the interview process?
Oh yeah, for sure, and very confident too.
Yes.
So he's always up. It's a lot of optimism, very positive, and it bleeds into the entire staff and organization when you have coaches like that.
Sure. All right, I want to take it back a little bit into last season. Ryan Jensen, it felt like, was the story of so much of the season. It's just like, all right, is he coming back? Is he coming back? Is he coming back? Obviously, he comes back for the playoff game, and it was incredible to see him kind of gut it out and be out there for the game that mattered most. Was that always on the table? You know, obviously, you go through the injury, and you never know exactly how it's going to heal, but was the thought process, you know, we can maybe get him back for that postseason run?
It was. There were moments where we weren't sure if that was going to end up happening.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can remember back in training camp, I didn't put him on IR until after the 53 was set, so we could have that option with him in hopes that would happen. He did an incredible job with his rehab, and it's really a great story that he came back to play in that playoff game. It was always the hopeful plan, and it just turned out to work out for us this year.
Speaking of getting guys back, was there ever a non-zero chance that Gronkowski was going to play for the Buccaneers last year? At any point, was there a non-zero chance?
Probably a non-zero.
Okay.
I'm not putting it. Let's just say we had a nice conversation in my backyard one night, but ultimately he felt that it wasn't the right time. But Gronk's always welcome in my backyard.
I was gonna say, I'm sure that you guys kept the light on for him at any time if he wanted to be back, but that's great to know. Where would you say that you guys are as a roster right now, currently, with the guys that you have? Obviously, a lot of people talk about, Brady's gone, so it's a full rebuild, but there's still a lot of talent on this roster. So you're coming off division titles as well. What's the thought process of where you guys are right now in the evaluation of the roster that you have?
Yeah, we still feel like we have a lot of good players on our roster, like you said, a lot of good young players on our roster. We're not like any other team, or we're like every other team right now that has to make some difficult decisions with some veterans. They're especially difficult when they're veterans that helped you win a Super Bowl.
Sure, right.
But we feel we're in a position where we can still compete for the division in the short term, and that's what we want to do. That's the goal, is to win the division, get in the playoffs. But we also have a long-term plan too, so we have to balance the two. So we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're not able to make some big moves in the future by sacrificing that right now. So, but we feel very good about the young players that we have and the players that we have on our team.
One of the big decisions, I'm sure, is with Lavonte, who is a legacy guy, somebody who's been around in Tampa for his entire career. Does that make negotiations more difficult when it's a guy who, like you said, has helped you win a Super Bowl, has been there since day one, a guy that was drafted in Tampa Bay? Does that make negotiations tougher when it's somebody who has just been around the franchise for so long?
I don't want to say tougher. Sometimes it makes it easier because we have I'm just speaking in general terms here, not necessarily Lavonte. When you have an icon player like that, we want him. He a lot of times wants to stay with the franchise. Yeah. So sometimes it does. Sometimes it's not so difficult. But Lavonte, Derek Brooks, all these guys like that. He fits right in that category in terms of where the beloved players from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have
experienced, it feels like, so many different ups and downs and different spectrums of being a general manager, right? You had the number one overall pick at one point. You won a Super Bowl at one point. You were jumping in the pool after wins at one point. You were on a boat parade at one point. You've just been all over the place. So my question to you is that since taking the general manager job with the Buccaneers, what's something that you've learned the most of being a general manager? Just whether it's salary cap or relationships or team building or something, what's something about the general manager position that you have learned the most, you would say, over the years?
Definitely that every day is unique.
Yeah.
That you can't have a plan your day out like a meeting here. This is what I'm going to be doing.
Sure.
Something always comes up.
Sure.
You need to expect the unexpected, and you just have to enjoy the ride because there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of luck involved in this.
Sure.
I've been to 5 Super Bowls in my career. I'm lucky to go to all 5. Extremely lucky to have 2 wins. But you have to have great people working for you. So because something comes up every day that's unexpected.
Yeah. And then the last one, along the same lines, that's what you've learned about being a general manager. What have you learned about yourself over the last, whatever it's been, 8-9 years of being in charge down in Tampa Bay and just the people that you've got to work with, how you make this whole thing work, maybe some self-reflection on maybe something you've learned about yourself over the years?
Well, I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. What I've learned is the more you can trust your staff and delegate, the better that you will become as a general manager. You can't expect to handle everything, and there are moments when you expect them to handle everything, so you can just take a mental break here for a few minutes or a few hours, whatever it takes,
right.
Because there's a lot of stress that's involved in this job. So just having good people is what you learn, and it's reinforced every day.
For all those aspiring general managers out there, hire the right people, let them do their job. Jason, thanks so much for joining us.
You got it.